Hi everyone, and welcome to mine and Beck's Passion to Profit workshop, where we're kind of combining business strategy and mindset all into kind of one thing, which we thought would be a great thing to do for January, kind of set you guys up on the path to success, really. We're going to just jump straight into it. If I hand over to you, Bex, do you want to do a little intro for yourself?
Yeah, of course. So, hi everyone. My name is Bex. So, for those that don't know, I'm a mindset coach and I specialize in NLP, timeline therapy, EFT tapping. So, just a little bit about me. My personal journey and my own transformation has been a ride, like most people, right? So, I used to struggle a lot with self-doubt, imposter syndrome, and this really came to light when I started my business 3 years ago. Because I always say, if you ever want to go on a personal development journey, just start a business. Like it's the most transformational journey you will ever go on. And obviously, as I went through my own coaching business and my own journey, I realized that mindset was such a huge part of it. Hence why I threw myself into the self-development space of mindset and studied to become a practitioner in all of those different modalities. So I'm hoping with what I'm going to share today in terms of, I'm not going to get too woo-woo on this, but just a little bit of manifestation in terms of energetics and mindset. And obviously combined with Emma's strategy session, it's going to be really beneficial for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you that don't know me, I am a business coach. I came from like a corporate background, and I got into the fitness industry through working it basically as a side hustle. So I was doing like a senior management corporate role and wanting to build my business in fitness. So I started off teaching classes. And basically, anyone that knows me knows that I always talk about trading time for money, and that is exactly what I was doing. So there was only so far I was ever going to get with building that business because I was just sort of hustling for more classes and more clients, and I was always doing that trading 1 hour for 25, £30, whatever I could get at that time. So this led me into sort of like the mindset of, well, I'm limiting my abilities here to grow this business, because there's only so many hours in the day that I can trade in for a class rate of 20, £25. So I then got further qualifications in my personal training, and then started really looking at how I could get into the fitness world to actually, increase revenue rather than trading time for money, which led me to actually work for gyms. And I've ended up scaling a small gym company from 1 to 7 gyms over sort of seven to 8 years. And it's continuing to grow now. So what I've kind of taken from all of my learnings over these years is how to build health, fitness, wellness businesses successfully. And that is basically what my mentorship is all about now, is helping people in that space or in service, providing a service to scale their businesses, stop trading time for money, but also more importantly, to do it without big teams and without spending huge money on adverts. So to do it in an organic way, that's my method basically. So that's just a little bit of both of us. Today, we want you to kind of walk away from this workshop with a bit of clarity as to how to grow your business and what route to take, really, but also to be confident in that journey. Because I think that's a big thing that I certainly come across with people that I meet is a lot of confidence coaching and knowing that you're on the right path, and a lot of that can come from the support that you get from people. But we're going to delve into you setting some really big goals rather than just day-to-day goals. We want to really delve into what you want to achieve in life. And then we're going to combine that with putting it into a strategy to help you put your goals in motion so you can actually start to take steps towards achieving them. And a lot of this is why me and Bex connect really well, because we do a lot of work with the unconscious mind. So Bex is going to go into a lot more explanation in terms of the unconscious mind. But sometimes we don't know what we want until we delve a little bit deeper and find out what is going on in our unconscious mind and bring that to the forefront so that we can actually set some goals.
Okay, thanks, Emma. So can I just get a feel for who I've got on the call and just let me know, like, do you have a current business now? Are you looking to set up your business? Like, just give me a kind of rough idea of where you're at, just so I can kind of tailor this to your needs as well. So whilst you do that, you've probably heard of the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. But for those that don't know, the conscious mind is our thinking mind. So this is the ability for us to accept and reject. So it's where we problem solve. And then we've got the unconscious mind, which is where all learning, change, and behavior happens. So with the unconscious mind, it has to accept, okay? It cannot reject. The conscious mind has the ability to reject. So this is where beliefs can start to come from in terms of limiting beliefs, and you set yourself at a certain level because you don't feel you can push yourself through. And that's where it comes down to being able to scale your business or to expand. Because what's happening energetically is you are keeping yourself in this safe space because it's what you believe to be true. And I use this terminology a lot and this statement as people will choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. And what I mean by that is the limiting beliefs that we hold about ourselves, they are stemmed from usually the ages of between 0 to 7, which is where our imprint stage is. So when we're children, we're like a sponge and we absorb everything. So as you go through life, it's like having a backpack and having all of these limitations put in your backpack. Because you are so young at that age, you haven't been able to use your conscious mind to reject. So you've accepted it to be your truth. And then on a conscious level, you don't actually know what's happening because it's all your internal program. So like Emma said, that's why it's so powerful to work with the unconscious mind, because you don't always know what it is that is keeping you stuck until you start to do that inner work. So that's just on that slide. Thanks, Emma. So how do you change? Like, how do you change your beliefs? And in my opinion, changing a paradigm, which is a multitude of habits, is the hardest thing to do because you are hardwired. But that doesn't mean to say you can't do it, because if you've created it, then you can absolutely change it. Now, our paradigm, our belief system, like I said, it can either sabotage us or it can serve us. And it's now when you get to the point where, you know, you've got something going on in your business and you want to progress, or you want to go out and do that thing and you want to progress to the next level, but there will be something that is pulling you back. So it's, again, it's awareness. It's having the awareness that something energetically is going on for you, because no matter what you're doing, you just can't seem to overcome it. And it's through the power of repetition that you can start to change those neurological pathways. And I truly believe in the modalities that I use, such as EFT tapping, timeline therapy, and obviously a lot of meditation work, because you access the unconscious mind, you access the unconscious part. Okay, I'm just going to read this chat just so I kind of understand where we're at. So Rachel is starting from ground zero, but I've had previous business. Jane's in corporate, job full time with a fitness business as a side hustle, wanted to go full time into fitness. I love this. Currently working with Emma, who is amazing. Yes, she is. Steve's got a full-time job and a side hustle as a PT business. Steve, is your PT business, just so I can get to know you a little bit better, is your PT business, is it your own, like self-employed, and you go and PT in gyms, or is it online?
I started up online at the beginning of last year, but it's been very, very slow so far.
Right.
I got qualified and then November before that. I'm just trying to build it up, really.
And is your business on Instagram?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's fine, just so I can just have an idea. Thanks, Emma. The next slide, please. So I'm going to give you a little story of my own personal experience so you can kind of bring it to life a little bit for yourself. So when I first started my business, I started off as a health coach, and then I was going down the PT road. So I did my level 2 gym instructing course, and I absolutely I fell in love with the fitness industry. I fell in love with health and wellness, and I just wanted to help so many other people. But the thing that stopped me dreaming big was me. Because when I started health coaching, I started off on Instagram, I started off online. And I had to learn a hell of a lot in the sense of marketing, strategy, sales, like all of these things. And I was like, hang on a second, I just want to help people transform from the inside out. You know, I'm not qualified as such in all of these other things. So I kind of held this belief of, I'm never going to be able to make it. I'm never going to be able to quit my corporate career and go full time in business because I'm not as good as X, Y, and Z who's already doing all of these incredible things. And this is when you can start to really devalue you as a person, because we tend to attach ourselves to an outcome. And we think, well, I'm qualified in this. I'm doing all of the things. I'm showing up online. Like Steve has just said, it's a bit slow and things are taking time. You start to make it about you. So then what can happen is you start to play small over time, day by day. And your belief of what it is that you wanted will start to shrink. So just give me in the chat, I'm just going to like ask this question. When you started your business, did you have this incredible excitement and this motivation and this passion and this, oh my God, this is going to be incredible. I'm going to be able to have this time freedom and I'm going to help so many people. Was that the feeling that you had when you first started? Jane says yes. So when we first start something and we've got this ambition, because you're using your imagination. Now, imagination is one of our mental faculties. We've got 6 of them. Not many people know what they are, nor do they know how to use them. So imagination is one of them. So when you're thinking about this life that you want to create and this business that you want to create, what can happen is, because if you're showing up doing all of the things, but you're not receiving the outcome that you desire, you'll start to shrink your goal. Okay. That was my hope, but did have doubts. And it's natural, it's normal to have doubts because it's trying to keep us safe. So I'm going to share this with you because this is something that absolutely quantum shifted me in my personal business to the point where summer of last year, I've been building my business for 3 years. Summer of last year, it was June, I quit my corporate career and I've gone full-time in my business. I've got 2 businesses, but I've gone full-time. So how did I shift from this scarcity of I'm never going to be able to do it, I don't know if I can do it on my own, to having the confidence and the faith and the belief to actually go out and do the goddamn thing that I set out to do 3 years ago? I set myself a type C goal. So I studied with, has anyone heard of Bob Proctor? I mean, God bless his soul, he's no longer with us now, but his material is phenomenal. And there's a really good book recommendation. I'll pop it in the chat if anyone's interested. So I did his Thinking into Results program, this container, this course, and he spoke about goals. And it was the one thing that really shifted me. So when you set goals, we always set goals that we think we can achieve, or if we were to piece X, Y, and Z together, then we might be able to achieve it. So a type A goal is something that you know you can achieve because you've already done it. So let's just say running a 5K, if fitness is your thing. I'm not going to lie, cardio ain't my thing. But if you've run a 5K and you set your goal to do another 5K, you know you can achieve it, right? It's not really a big goal that we want to be playing with right now because we're going for the stars, right? Then you've got a type B goal. So your B goal is something that you think you can achieve. So if you was to say, okay, so I want to run a 10K. I've run a 8, 9K. I've just never hit that 10K mark. You know, more than likely, if you put the training in and you put the work in and you started your nutrition out, you know that you'd be able to hit that 10K pretty much, right? So that's a B type goal. A type C goal is something that you have never achieved in your entire lifetime. And the thought of achieving something so big scares the hell out of you, right? So for an example, I've just started a membership. I've got some incredible women inside there. Rachel's inside there at the minute. My goal and my dream is to help people heal from the inside out. And I've claimed I want over 1,000 people in that membership, right, going forward. This is like my 10-year plan. That's delusional. I've never done that before. I've not even got, that many followers on my Instagram for that to happen right now. But by setting myself a goal that scares me but excites me, what it is doing is it's helping you operate on a different frequency. So if you know anything about quantum physics, you'll understand this. And if you don't, I highly recommend a book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. It's phenomenal. When you start to understand the faculties that you have in your mind and how you can rewire your mind for new empowering beliefs, that's when you can really start to manifest or attract the things into your life. So if you're operating from this end result, and when I say the end result, I'm talking about the life that you want. So this is you here. Sorry, Steve, this is a female, so, you know, bear with. Should have put a blue one next to it. But this is you. And then you've got all of the things that you want in your life, right? So you've got the home, the partner, the love, the money, the car, the holidays, the career, the fulfillment, all of these incredible things. It's all in what we call the quantum field. If you're into Dr. Joe Dispenza, you would have heard that terminology. But just to kind of keep it quite simple, that is everything you want is already here. Our job is to match the frequency of that. This is where it takes the time. This is where it takes that resilience and the determination. So when you start operating using this vision, and again, this is why visualization is so powerful, because the unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what is real and what isn't. So when you start to visualize your future life and you get excited and you remember why you started your business and where you want to take it, you'll start to feel different. And that is the goal. It's operating at the highest form, right? The highest form of vibration, which is love, right? We all want to feel that feeling. That is when you start to attract. So when you start to understand the mind and the power of it, dreaming big, that is where you need to be for you to bring in your desires. Does that land? Because I know sometimes when people hear this information firsthand, it can be a little bit, what the hell are you talking about? What do you mean everything I want is already here? So I'm just going to read this. So Jane's heading to teach a body pump class. She's still listening. Oh, enjoy, Jane. Do you want to pop me on the next slide, please, Emma? So this is where I start to talk about who it is that you need to become for you to hit that goal, to reach that vision and make it your reality. Because what has got you here is not going to get you there. So you have to start to become somebody different. The strategy is massively important because we all need direction of travel. We all need to learn the strategy, which is the bit that Emma's going to talk you through. But you've really got to start working on your self-image. So it's how you see yourself. Because how you see yourself is how other people are going to see you. And that is what is going to make you magnetic as such, to bring in the clients, to attract the right people, to attract the right collaborations, the right opportunities. So it's all about having the self-awareness. Thinking about your daily habits. Something that I talk about a lot is having a DMO, which sounds very corporate, but it's a daily method of operation. What are your daily habits? And I always use this as like going to the gym. You know, you go to the gym to build the muscle. What are you doing on a daily basis to build the muscle of your mind and your belief? Like, what material are you plugging into? What practices are you doing? You know, what are you making time for? Because that inner critic is always going to be there. It's always going to be telling you, you're not good enough, you can't do this, you're not cut out for this. Now we've got a choice. We either listen to it and let that be our truth, or we raise our dominant thought of, I can do this, I'm willing to do this, and I'm doing it with you or without you. That inner critic isn't going to go away and cut off completely, because we need it. We need it because we need to be in safety sometimes, right? But what it can do is we can silence the noise of it. And then the more positive, see, even Zoom agrees, it keeps putting its thumbs up. But then when you start to strengthen that muscle, like I said, and that inner self-belief, the inner critic will start to silence, and you'll realize that you'll be changing as a person, because you'll start to act differently. You'll start to show up on social media differently. And then people will be like, you've changed. And it's like, well, yeah, because this is who I am now. So it's about claiming it and owning it and making a decision today to draw a line in the sand of the beliefs that you've held previously and commit to changing your identity to become that person that gets to have those things that you desire. Okay. What's next? This is going to be over to you now.
Yeah. So stay with that thought process of your big goals. We're going to just, in order for you to be able to move forward with your business goals, you do need to reflect on currently where your business is at. So what I'm going to go through today has got a lot of questions for you, but it's really just to get your thought process going. Because once you've got an awareness of where you are at, where you want to be, when it brings it forward, you can then start to take action with it. So you can take some notes here, or you can take pictures of this and work through it in your own time, or go through the replay and then keep pausing when you need to, because it's not like setting goals and putting almost like a strategy behind it isn't a quick thing. When I work through like one-to-one sessions with my clients, we quite often spend a long time going through all of this stuff. But for today, it's just some things to like get you thinking, take some notes so that you can start those steps in taking forward. So just to further explore, where are you currently at with your business goals? These questions here are just going to focus, they seem like really strange questions, but they're going to focus on bringing your unconscious thoughts through to your conscious mind so that you can take action on them. So if you think to yourself, for your business to go just the way you'd like it would be like what? So it might be like pure bliss, for example. So for your business to go just the way you'd like it would be like what? For your business to be like that, so for your business to be pure bliss, you would be like what? And that's just linking in a lot of what Rebecca's just said as well, is like you changing yourself. And then the third one is linking them all together. So for you to be like that, and for your business to be like that, how can we support you today? So just have a think about what you can get from us today in this short time that we are together. So feel free to ask questions. It's very relaxed, atmosphere. I want you to put anything in the group chat that you want to along the way. So in order to keep that feel, like I talk a lot about, keeping energy high, because when you feel good, you attract good. What you put out there comes back to you, and all of that. So when I'm setting goals, I like to think of a time in your life when things were going really well for you. So thinking of your biggest achievements, what you actually achieved out of that personally as well as professionally. What did they actually do for you? Why was it important for you to achieve that? And this doesn't have to be, if you're thinking of like things that you've achieved in life, it doesn't have to be just business things that you've achieved. Because if you're starting a new business, it might be that you haven't achieved those bigger goals yet, and that's absolutely fine. But just to get your thought process going, think of something that you have achieved in life, like your biggest thing that you've achieved. I did this with one of my clients once, and we worked through quite a few things. And one of the biggest things that she had achieved was her divorce. So it literally can be anything, because that led on to so many other things for her. So have a think about that biggest thing that you've achieved, and in the lead up to achieving it, what was happening for you? So what was going on for you? And after you achieved it, what happened then? Think of how you felt, who you were with, where were you? So you can really engage with that feeling, thought, whatever it might be for you. And then just think about the purpose behind it as well. Why were you achieving it? And what did you gain by your achievement? And what we get from all of this stuff, so take your time, write some notes, is sometimes things will come out of this that you didn't realize that helped you achieve things. So one thing that's come out of things that I've worked through with clients is actually before they achieved this, they were in a really confident place. Or before they achieved this big goal that they've achieved, they actually had a lot of support from friends or family or a coach, and that's helped them achieve it. So you can sometimes just focus on things that you didn't realize were there by just doing these tasks. And then you can then realize that some of those things you can take forwards into your business goals. Running the London Marathon, Rachel, wow, yeah, that's a big achievement. Yeah, I bet it did. Transformed mentally as well as physically. And raising money for charity, amazing. So today I'm going to take you through how we put those goals into motion so that you can grow personally or professionally. So if you want to focus more on personal goals, all of this stuff would be relevant for that as well. So if you think of your big term goals, so the delving into your bigger goals that Becs has just done with you, write down what your goals are. But then what we want to do when we're putting a strategy together and when we're putting steps together to actually on a daily basis have something that we're doing towards achieving that bigger goal, we've got to break it down. And we've got to think short-term goals, long-term. So if in business, your goal might be to reach 100K this year, thinking of that 100K is quite a daunting thing. Like that almost feels too far away to be able to achieve. But actually, if you broke it down into quarterly goals, and then we break it down into monthly, then we break it down into weekly, it becomes more manageable, and that's how you achieve those goals. So if you're taking notes, what I want you to do is draw a big cross on one of your pages, like you can see on the right-hand side here. And then we're going to break it down into quarters. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is the part also, when you start putting it down, you can hold yourself accountable. So everything I'm going to go through today will build on this Q1, 2, 3, and 4. So take some brief notes at this stage in just putting your goals into the quarters. So if it's a financial goal, so by Q4, we wanted to have reached 100K. Q1, first quarter of the year, if you're just setting up your business, it's not likely that first 3 months you're going to hit 25, 30K. So it might be in Q1, we're going to go for 10K. And then Q2, we're going to build on that. Q3, we're going to build on it until we reach 100K. So it's just a breaking down phase at this stage to put it in writing. This is my aim, and this is how I am proposing that I'm going to break that down per quarter. It doesn't have to be financial goals, by the way. It could be, client goals. It could be working with a particular person. It can be anything that you want to bring into your business. We're going to write that down and break it down into those quarters. So think of your end result. So what do you want your end result to be for your business? That's your main goal. And then that's the goal that we're going to break down. But I'm going to keep going through this. So keep your little cross with your quarters, and we're just going to keep adding to it as we go through. So in order to be able to break it down into quarters, we need to know your current situation. So you can add that in. So if your current situation is that, you're bringing home 20K, but we want to get to 100K, then we've got that difference to make that we can break down into those 4 areas. Or if you've got, like Bex has got to get, 1,000 people into our membership, then, you know, we would break that down into quarter, and then eventually we would break that down into a marketing plan for each of those quarters so that we know we want to get X amount per quarter coming through. Also at this stage, it's thinking about, have you tried anything already? Because when we put a strategy together, we want to make sure that if you've got something tried and tested that didn't work, we're not going to include that again. Yeah. So think of all the things as well, just on another bit of paper that you've tried so far and didn't work for you. Did it bring in the revenue? Did it bring in the clients? Did it bring in, you know, your ideal month? Whatever did or didn't work for you. So we've got a plan as to what we're going to leave behind and what we're going to take forwards. When we think of the reality of the situation of achieving your goals, is there anything that's stopping you? Or is there anything getting in your way that we can build into the plan? Now, this might be skills. You might not know how to market yourself. You might not know how to do the Instagram side of things. You might not know, you know, if you're running an event or something, you need to learn the operational side of booking the venues and, you know, the actual day-to-day running of an event. So it could be like a skill thing that might be getting in your way that you haven't learned yet, because we would build that into the plan. So Q1, we're going to do some social media training, or we're going to do some marketing training, we're going to do some email marketing training, whatever it might be. We build that into your plan. So write down if there's anything that you think will stop you along the way that we can work on, basically. Anything that might be limiting your progression. So it's important to be aware of these things so that when you do put a strategy together, it's like a foolproof strategy, because we've future paced and we've worked out that actually by the time we get to that stage, this problem might come in, that we've already thought about that and we've got the skill set to deal with it. So that's why we work on this now. And then your options. So it's really interesting that when I've discussed business goals with people, in reaching a particular goal, we get stuck in a mindset that there's only one way to achieve it, and that's to work more. And I very much believe that we shouldn't be trading time for money. And we shouldn't be doing more and more and more hours to bring in more and more money. So I do believe in hard work. I do believe you need to put the work in when you're starting a business and you're continuing to run a successful, sustainable business. But there are other ways of doing it. So for instance, personal trainers, I work with a lot of personal trainers. If you are just doing one-on-one clients, there's only so many hours in the day, 7, 8, some work 12 hours a day, that you can physically get your money in. Whereas if you did small group personal training, for example, where you train 3 or 4 people all in 1 hour, you could potentially earn £100 for that 1 hour instead of your 35, 45 pounds that you might trade one-on-one. So think of all the options that you have to achieve your goal. Because when you sit down and start writing down some ideas, you realize that there's actually other angles that you could take. It might be that actually you need some support or you need some help in doing certain aspects of reaching your goal. And that you can build into each of your quarters, whatever that might look like. So you're kind of, with your options, you're exploring all the strategies that you might have to achieve that goal. And then the last sort of stage of this kind of 4 steps is then choosing basically what you want to commit to, what option that you're going to go with, and putting an action plan together. So once we've kind of done all of the research behind how we're going to reach our goals, we can then go back to our Q1, 2, 3, and 4, and we can put this all in to each of the quarters so that you know that in Q1, you're going to take this, 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 and this step. Q2, we're then going to do this, this, and this. So you've got it down into your quarters. And then what you want to do is break it down into months. And if you want to get super organized, you break it down into weeks and you break it down into day-by-day goals. Now, that involves a lot of planning and a lot of clarity over exactly what you want to achieve. So I personally will do a yearly plan, so breaking it down into the cross into 4 quarters, and then I break it down by month. And then I would put a marketing plan behind each of my months going forwards as to what I'm focusing on for that month. So I would advise to do that to start with, in terms of just getting an overview. And you know what? Don't stress, because it can change along the way. And as a good business owner, you also need to be adaptable as well. So you need to be able to make changes along the way, because you don't want to set a plan and then realize that maybe it's not going as well as you thought and not change it because you think, no, I'm sticking to the plan. Because you need to be adaptable and, you know, react to things that might pop up along the way. So at this stage, you've got your breakdown of your bigger picture goal. You've broken it down into your quarters. So now we want to think, what step could you take today or tomorrow that would take you one step closer to achieving your goal? And on a daily basis, that's all you've got to think about. What could I do today that could take me one step towards that bigger goal that we've set? Yeah, to getting that financial freedom that I want, or to, you know, working less, earning more, whatever it might be. What could I do today? And it might be the smallest step would be, I'm going to send an email out to everyone I know today. Or I'm going to reach out to someone on Instagram. That's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to maybe host an event in 3 months' time. So I could start looking into that today. So it can just be the smallest step every day. But by doing it this way and by breaking it down, it makes it more manageable mentally and physically, because sometimes mentally, like Bex was saying, we almost talk ourselves out of things. So when we put things into smaller steps and we write it down, we can stick that on the fridge. So every morning we get up, we see it and we go, right, that's what I'm aiming for. So you don't forget and that becomes your priority. So once you start making something your priority as well, and always putting that first, then you'll focus more on it and you will achieve it. So does anyone have any questions about that, or bigger goals that you would break down? If you want to write in the chat if you've got any feedback on that, or you struggle with, yeah, that's not the bit I'm not very good at, Rachel. Yeah, that's, you know, the planning side, it can be quite tough. It's just sometimes we have a lot of thoughts here, and getting it onto paper is the hard bit. But if you try and maybe use this as like a process, breaking it down into 4 parts across the year, and then taking a look at each part and what you really want to achieve, I think that makes it a little bit more manageable, hopefully. Do you guys think that this would be something that you could do? Just pop in the chat. Yeah, Becca. Yeah, I like the bigger goals broken down. Yeah. Been making notes. Great, Rachel. Thank you, Jane. Yeah, excellent. Okay, good. So yeah, we've given you some breakdowns and some plans of how to put that into process and how to take it forward. But like I say, it is a planning stage. So sometimes it depends how you plan. I like to make a mess on my desk and, you know, get things stuck here, there and everywhere, and get a nice plan going. So if you need to take the time to do that, then please do. for me, if you guys are looking for that next step in, getting the support that you need in terms of growing your business, I do run a business accelerator program. And it gives you that support, but it also gives you everything you need in terms of building your business. And like I've said before, like, I believe in organic growth. So everything that I coach my clients on is all around doing marketing organically, doing your ideal client, your niche, and all of this, so you can build your own model. So I don't believe in saying to any health, fitness, or wellness providers, this is the program that you have to follow, and this is the design and the strategy. It's very much, you have all the tools to build your dream business, and that's how I coach people and mentor people. So if that is something you would like to get more information on, then obviously DM me, drop a message on here. I'm on Instagram as well. So yeah, and obviously Bex runs her program as well, so I'll hand over to Bex for that. Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you from before. So I kind of come at the approach of a little bit more of holistic healing. Like I said, I specialize in timeline therapy, in NLP, and EFT tapping. So I've recently launched my membership, which is a Limitless Academy, and it's around basically healing. So as you go through, again, your business journey, your self-development journey, you don't have to have a business for those that are watching back on the replay. But as we go through life, we always want to become that next level version of ourselves. And then it's the beliefs that stop us, right? And it's the past trauma that we hold, not just in the mind, but in the body as well. So my Limitless Academy is a monthly membership where you get access to bi-weekly coaching calls with me. You get Telegram support. I've created a healing haven. So it's a portal within the membership where you get access to EFT tap-ins, meditations, and timeline activations. Just to give you a little bit of an insight on EFT, for those that don't know, it's emotional freedom technique. So it's where you tap on the certain meridian points of the body. This is a practice that will really help you shift and help reprogram your mind faster than journaling, faster than meditation. And the reason being behind that, the science behind that, is there's a part of the brain called the amygdala. And basically that is our emotional mind, where our feelings are processed. So when we tap on certain meridian points of the body, it basically connects, it sends a message to the amygdala, and it helps to reduce the emotional charge. So if you're feeling, lack of belief, not feeling good enough, you're basically removing the emotional charge to help you reprogram the mind, which makes you feel differently, which means you will then take a different action and then get a different outcome, because it shifts the energy through the body. So I've also got in there additional guest experts coming in at the moment. So we're going to be doing different topics every month. So it's basically like a self-development membership when it comes down to healing and manifestation. And there's a book club in there, because as I've mentioned, a few books on there as well, because books just changed my life. On the next slide, please, Em. Thank you. Yeah, that's it from me.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. I'll obviously upload the replay as well. So if you wanted to, recap on everything and pause if you want to take notes. But, you can find both myself and Bex on Instagram. So please message us if you've got any questions. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
See you later.
Thank you. Cheers.